Hello there everyone, and welcome to a new review on the channel. And today we are going to be looking at an older product, but one that always caught my eye that I eventually decided to purchase, and that is Dreambox by Jota or Jota. I don't know exactly how you pronounce it, but we're gonna be looking at Dreambox today. A really fun and cool effect for certain occasions and performing environments. So enough said about that. Let's roll the intro and get straight into the review. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you're interested in learning more about Dreambox. Now, what is Dreambox? Dreambox is essentially kind of a constrained confabulation routine, if you may say it, where you propose certain choices to the spectators while they're going to either watch a movie, travel in time, go to a sporting event, etc. And no matter what they choose at the end, in a collar that they've been wearing from the start around their neck, you're gonna take it, you're gonna ask them to feel inside. They feel there's a piece of paper. You remove that piece of paper and reveal that you knew from the start what they were going to choose. Now, of course, I have the sports version, and the performance that I'm going to do in a moment is the sports version, but also this entire review, no matter the version that you buy of Dreambox, everything that you get is exactly the same. The instructions, the props, everything. The only thing that changes is the options that you give to your spectators. But enough about that. Let's roll a small clip of me doing Dreambox for you online. Okay, so this is a performance of Dreambox. Now, of course, I don't have a spectator here, but normally you would put this lanyard around the spectator's neck, but for the purpose of this, we're gonna have it around my own. So then you're gonna tell your spectator that you're gonna do a small sporting adventure at some of the most expensive sports venues that you found, and they're gonna make the choices of the adventure based on the choices that you found online. So first of all, you tell them the two most expensive sporting events that you found to attend are Formula One and the Ninja Motorcycle Show. So out of these two, which ones do they want? They get to choose, let's say Formula One. You then proceed next and you tell them three of the most expensive destinations to go watch a sporting event are Monaco, Qatar, or in the US at Route 66. So out of these three, where would you want to go watch Formula One? Let's say they go with Qatar. You tell them perfect. Now, while we're going there, we're also going to be attending a music festival. So there's either a classical music festival where you can listen to some Beethoven, or a rock music festival where you can listen to the Rolling Stones. Out of these two, which one would you want? Let's say they say Rolling Stones. They say perfect. So I think watching Formula One in Qatar with Rolling Stones is great. But now, while you're there, you're gonna meet a ton of famous sporting celebrities. So out of these are Lionel Messi, LeBron James, Tom Brady, Usain Bolt, and Roger Federer. So out of all of these, who would you like to meet on the vacation? And let's say they say LeBron James. So you say perfect. So you would go for LeBron James. So now just to recap, all these choices were your own, correct? So you've decided to go watch Formula One. You've decided to go to Qatar. You've decided to listen to the Rolling Stones. And you've decided to meet with LeBron James. Are you in agreement that that was completely fair? All your choices were yours and they were fair, right? So now you have the lanyard around your neck, but I don't know if you can touch it. They can actually feel here. Do you feel there's like a small piece of paper inside? They're gonna say yes. So you're gonna just remove this from their neck. So it would be like this, and you tell them perfect. So now what's interesting is that if I just come inside and just remove the piece of paper from inside there's actually a prediction inside, and it says that you're going to attend Formula One, you're going to go watch it in Qatar, you're going to go listen to the Rolling Stones, and of course the person that you're going to meet is LeBron James. So that is essentially a performance of Dreambox and what it would be. Again, there's no spectator here, so it's not as good, but I think you understand what the effect is. So let's go back into the review. Perfect. So that was a quick performance of Dreambox. I hope that it was passable and you enjoyed it, but that's essentially what the effect is. So having said that, let's talk about where you purchase this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy Dreambox pretty much anywhere. I got mine from my local magic shop, but if you want to buy yours from ALAKAZAM, Vanishing Ink, wherever, you will probably find it in stock. There's also going to be different versions. I have the sports version, but you can find there's, I think, a celebrity version, a movie version, a time traveling version. There's a bunch of versions that you can choose from, and all of them come with the same instructions and props, just altered to the specific theme that you buy it from. So it will set you back around 39 US dollars, which is around 50-55 Canadian, depending on the exchange rate. And what you get is this. So first you get this sleeve. On the back of this sleeve, you get an online tutorial. In this tutorial, it's a dub tutorial. So it's Jota speaking in Spanish, and they essentially dub it in English, but it's really well done. You understand everything, and it's a rather soothing dub. It's not like he's speaking and they're talking over him. It's really well done. But for Spanish speakers out there, you do have the original video that you can watch in Spanish as well. But in the tutorial, he's going to explain to you how it works, the moves, how to learn it, and also the setup. So you have to know, if you buy this, there is an initial setup that you have to do. It's a one-time setup. You're not going to have to do it again, but it does take some time. It took me around 40 minutes to set this up. It's not complicated. It's not arts and crafts or anything. You just have to set everything up to make sure it works perfectly and smoothly during your routine. But it is a lengthy one. You do have to do quite a few things. Again, no arts and crafts or anything. You just have to prepare certain things for the routine, but it does take a hefty amount of time. I'd say between 20 if you're like super fast, but you may like not do it properly. So I would say between 30 to 40, maybe even 45 minutes to set everything up, but he covers that in the tutorial. So in terms of what you get with your product, except for that, you also get your carrying case. So this is where you're going to be carrying your props. These are props, as we're going to mention a bit later on. You can't just throw in your pocket or in your carrying case or anywhere like that, because they will get damaged. So he does provide to you this box where you place everything and you're good to go. So this is part of what you get, and this is part of what you're going to be carrying around. So you get this box. Then you also get kind of this string type necklace with a hook at the bottom, and you get this lanyard which has something inside that they can feel, and just by putting this on, you can place this around their neck, so it's easy access to just remove and take it off. So that's provided to you. And then you also get all of the cards and necessary materials to do the routine. So these are the cards that you saw during the performance. You get all of those as well, included with everything that you need. Now, if you want to give away the reveals at the end, there are refills for this, but personally I just reveal it and that's it. I don't give it out as a souvenir, but you can give it out as a souvenir if you want, but he doesn't provide you extras to be able to do that. So if you're thinking about doing that, buy the extras when you buy the effect. So that's what you get. Having said that, how difficult is this to perform? So this is not very difficult to perform, but there's essentially two parts to it. One, there's towards the end, as you may have guessed, there's a small move that you do, a classic move, kind of like a card to box move, but it's really much easier to do because, well, you're not doing it with a card, it's something smaller. So there's that move that you have to do. Nothing too complicated, pretty easy. And then during the routine, at one point, there's a small thing that you have to kind of know what's going on, but it doesn't require memory work or anything like that. In like maybe 5 minutes while watching the tutorial, or maybe the first time you practice this to yourself, you're gonna quickly understand how this works. It's super, super easy. So really there's not much memory work and there's not much sleights here. It's pretty direct, so it's not too difficult in that regard. Moving on now to practicality. This is where there's a lot of things to note about this effect. So practicality wise, first of all, we always talk about carrying capacity. So you're gonna have to carry around this box with you at all times. So this is not just something you can put in your jeans pocket or in your back pocket. It is a pretty big box that you have to carry around, but it will fit everything that you need, albeit even snug. So even this box being as big as it is, everything is going to be super snug inside. So even then, for myself, I can't even put the lanyard inside. So what I do, I just like put it here and just let the string, as you saw when I brought it out initially, like let the string be on the outside. So like not even everything fits inside, but it does carry it pretty well, even though I have to keep the lanyard on the outside technically, but you'll have to carry around this box filled with all your cards, okay? So everything fits here, but you're gonna have to carry this around with you. Second of all, let's talk about inspectability. So yes, the like the lanyard is on their neck, so there's no really need to inspect it. They can feel there's something inside, and then when you remove the prediction that was inside of the lanyard, they can like look at it. As I said, you can even give it away as a souvenir if you have refills, but there's nothing really to inspect there. However, the cards are not inspectable. However, the way you handle them and you display them in the routine kind of show that they're normal cards, but if performed a bit too close to a spectator, or if performed without the possibility of putting things under the table or behind your back or inside of your case, we're going to talk about this again in a moment, you're not going to be able to really perform this as clean as you want because of the non-inspectability of this. So this is not only not inspectable, but even if, as I said, people are too close, they may see that, you know, the cards that you put on the table are this big, and then the cards that you're left with at the end, which are supposedly just 5, are like this big. So like, I think that gives you an idea kind of what I mean. So these are not inspectable whatsoever. Normally they shouldn't be if performed well, but keep in mind that you are going to need, if you perform this, whether it's close up, stage, parlor, you're either going to need a table where you can take, once you do it, you place them below the threshold of the table, or I think in the performance that he does in the trailer, when he takes them, he's like sitting on a chair, someone is on a chair across. When he shows at the end, he just takes it and places it behind his back. Or you're gonna need to be able to do that, or if you're parlor stage, put it in your case or behind the performing environment where you are, out of sight. So you have to keep that in regards to examinability. You're gonna have to deal with that. In terms of reset, the reset is pretty quick. You just take this, you place the pin back on, simple just as this, and then you just place everything back in the box and you're pretty good to go. It's like 5 or maybe 6 seconds. It's super quick reset in that regard. In terms of angles are strictly 180. There's no way that anyone can be behind you or completely to the, like, just even if they pass the 180 degree, they're probably gonna see things they shouldn't. So this is not really something to perform surrounded, because you can't even perform it surrounded. So you have to keep management of your angles. And the last thing that I can mention regarding practicality, I've already alluded to it, but you're gonna be careful of the environment where you perform, because you're gonna either need a chair where you can kind of ditch things behind your back, or you're gonna need a table when you display the last card. All the other cards, you place them below the table or in a case or whatever. So you're gonna need that extra item or extra place in your performance environment when you're left with just one card, to just take everything and just place it somewhere out of sight, okay? So that's it regarding practicality. Now, regarding performance environments, then I think I've pretty much alluded to it. So no matter if you want to perform this close-up, stage, parlor, or wherever in person, you're gonna need, as I mentioned, yet again, somewhere to place the cards when you're ready to reveal the trick, just because, you know, you can't have them on the table, right? So additionally, because of that, I think it's important to note that you also cannot be super close to your spectators. So I would say if you're like at a table and someone is across to you at a table and you perform like this, that's fine. But you can't really be like performing it up close to them and they're like this far away. You can't do that. So I feel that personally, even for myself, because of you having to carry around all this, because you have to, even if you do it standing up, like let's say you're doing table to table or restaurant, you're gonna need pockets to ditch the cards. If you do not have pockets while you're in the mud, you're not gonna be able to really do this without spoiling the method. So I think the best place to perform this would either be on Zoom, parlor, stage, or cabaret. I think this is where it excels, because you can ask numerous people, right? You can interact with more than one person. You have like kind of a live prediction on someone in the audience where you can go, you can grab it and you can show it, right? It's more interactive, it's more fun, and it plays a bit bigger. Even though the prediction is small, I think that people could see it and you could show it and, you know, make it pass. So I think that's where this excels. If you want to do this close up, I think it could work in casual environments or in environments where, as I said, you have things where you can place the cards, or if you have pockets, like for example, on my performing jacket suit, the pocket is relatively big. So at the end of the routine, like when I show just one card, these could easily just plop inside of my pocket without any issues, okay? So keep that in mind. But yes, you can perform a close-up with some caveats, but parlor, stage, anything, it will work much better. So having said all of this, what are the positives and negatives of Dreambox? Let's start with the negatives. Negative number one is the cards are not inspectable, and you cannot really even perform this 180. So you have to be careful that it's strictly 180. The cards are not examinable. The cards are a bit chubby, if I may say that myself. You do have to carry around everything in this box, right? So you do have to carry, you can't just take this as an EDC or, oh, today I want to perform something when I meet my friends and be like, okay, let me place this in my jeans pocket, it won't fit. So you do have to carry around quite a bit with you. But that's all the negatives. In the positives, one, the props that you get are really well made. Two, the routine is fun to perform. It has a fun premise. It's easy to do. It's impactful. It can, if you purchase extras, you can give away souvenirs, right? But if not, you don't really have to. It's a really cool concept. You can adapt this. You can really make it for everyone. It's a routine that can play for pretty much any age group. It's fun. And yeah, it's relatively a pretty good routine. So having said all of this, would I recommend it, and what would I rate it out of 10? So would I recommend Dreambox? And honestly, I would say yes. I think that if you see yourself performing parlor or kind of like a situation where you know with what I said, you can easily remove the cards, I think this is a really cool confabulation routine and a really fun one at that. I think it's pretty unique, it's pretty cool, and I think it's a really nice effect, even with the negatives. However, with that said, I still recommend it, but I wouldn't rate it super highly. I would rate it an 8 on 10. Similar to some other effects I reviewed, this, due to the fact that I don't get really booked often, and I don't really get booked often to do parlor or stage, it's mostly kind of close up. This is not going to be always with me, but when I get the opportunity to do it, I will probably do it, but it depends on the opportunity I have. So because of that, I can't really give it incredibly high marks, but it's still a really good effect and a fun one at that. So I'm giving it an 8 on 10. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any additional questions, leave them down below. If not, I'll see everyone in my next review. Have a great one, and bye-bye.